26-year-old Alexis Jean Lopez lived in Oxnard, California in 2017. She grew up in Santa Paula and Camarillo and graduated from Camarillo High School. On October 8th of 2017, at 9:45 p.m., Alexis was in the driver's seat of a Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck waiting to turn left from Ventura Boulevard onto Santa Clara Avenue. An acquaintance, a 27-year-old Oxnard man, was sitting next to her while they waited in the left turn pocket for the light to change. Alexis and the man were then both shot multiple times in a drive-by shooting as they sat in the truck. Alexis was fatally shot, but her passenger was hospitalized and survived. Alexis left behind 2 young children, according to Sergeant Edgar Fernandez, who worked on the case. Fernandez said that he and others consistently worked on the case over the years, where new information would come in slowly and keep them going in the right direction. A recent addition of the new evidence led police to arrest Jacob Jamal Steer, 25, of Oxnard in October of 2022. Steer had already been in custody since September of 2022 for violating his post-release supervision from a prior assault conviction. Steer appeared in Ventura County Superior Court on October 24th of 2022 for arraignment on the charges against him. He did not enter a plea and is due to return to court November 21st. He was rebooked into custody and remains at Todd Road Jail in lieu of a $1 million bail. The police investigation is still ongoing. Fernandez said they expect to make at least one additional arrest. Anyone with information can call Detective Ken Taugus at 805-200-5669. The city of Oxnard offers a $25,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest and conviction in this case. Fernandez said that the shooter and the victims did not know each other. He believed the motive was more than likely a case of mistaken identity rather than a random act of violence. In June of 2007, a call was made to the Lewisburg Police Department about 53-year-old James Johansen going missing in Greenbrier County, West Virginia. His friends, family members, and neighbors got concerned when no one had seen or heard from him for a period of time. After an extensive investigation by numerous West Virginia state troopers over the next 14 years, a break in the case evolved. The Greenbrier County Sheriff's Office received a call in September of 2021 of skeletal remains located near Muddy Creek Mountain in Greenbrier County. The Greenbrier County Sheriff's Office crime scene team, along with members of the West Virginia State Police Lewisburg Detachment, collected the remains and other evidence at the crime scene. The Greenbrier County Sheriff's Office completed a crime scene report and eventually discovered the remains belonged to James Johansen. They continued the investigation based on the discovery of his body and the previous investigative report. After investigating new and old leads, troopers presented Greenbrier County Prosecutor Pat Via with an investigative report. Based on the report, Via decided to present the investigation to Greenbrier County Grand Jury in October of 2022, resulting in an indictment on Charles Michael Kaysen Kessinger. West Virginia state troopers traveled to San Antonio, Texas in October of 2022, where Kessinger was arrested at his home by the Texas Rangers and Texas Department of Public Safety. Kessinger was extradited back to West Virginia by members of the West Virginia State Police and is currently being housed in Southern Regional Jail. Investigators have released that the motive for Kessinger taking James's life was robbery, but they did not specify how they concluded that Kessinger is responsible. Archie Rutherford lived in Spokane, Washington in 1982 with his wife Eleanor. On May 25th of 1982, Eleanor returned from a weekend trip she took to the Seattle area. She expected her husband to pick her up from the airport, but he never showed up. A friend brought her home, and that's when she noticed her green Honda 1979 was gone. When she went inside, she found whiskey bottles in the front room and bloody knives in the dining room. She then discovered Archie's body in the bedroom. An autopsy determined he suffered multiple injuries, including several stab wounds to his neck. Blood covered his head and neck. It was also found on the bedding and walls. A detective noticed some cuts on the back of Archie's left fingers and forearm, which could have been defensive wounds. A portable television rested against his face with the cord wrapped around his neck. Pieces of a broken glass decanter, which police believe was broken over Rutherford, were visible near his head and back. Police found a piece of a cast iron pan under his body and another piece on the floor of the bedroom. Eleanor Rutherford discovered a cast iron pan on the stove that was damaged and missing part of its sidewall. She also noticed blood and hair on the pan, which a detective collected as evidence. Spokane County Coroner Lois Shanks stated that Archie was likely knocked unconscious by a blow to the head before he was repeatedly stabbed to the left side of his head and neck. She said he was likely asleep when the attack started. In a walkthrough of the home with police, Eleanor Rutherford noticed stolen items including the Honda, keys to the house and car, her husband's wallet, which included credit cards, and a 19-inch color television set. She told police other items were out of place in the house. She said steak knives were found on the dining room table instead of in the kitchen drawer. The glass liquor decanter scattered in pieces around her husband's body was typically in the hallway. Cigarette butts and ash were dumped in the toilet, and her jewelry boxes were rummaged through in her bedroom. Police wrote in documents the stolen items demonstrate robbery that was a potential motive. They said the amount of excessive violence used indicated a level of rage more commonly found in domestic violence situations. Eleanor's Honda was found by an officer about 8 hours after she called the police to report that she found Archie's body. Investigators lifted fingerprints from the car that belonged to an unknown man, but the prints did not identify anyone at the time. A resident and manager at the Myrtle Apartments, which adjoins the lot where the Honda was found, told the police they first noticed the car in the lot between 6:30 and 7 a.m. of May 25th. Police determined Archie brought the Honda in for repairs on May 24th to Pontiac City, the current home of Findlay Lexus of Spokane, on West 3rd Avenue. The car was retrieved before noon the same day. A friend of Archie told police he had breakfast with him at the Shack restaurant, about 3 blocks west of Pontiac City, while the Honda was being serviced. The friend saw Archie again around 9:05 p.m. at his work, the Trade Winds Motel. The last sighting of Archie may have been by a Spokane police officer who believed to have seen him driving the car around 11:30 p.m. May 24th by the Myrtle Apartments. DNA from the crime scene was collected that belonged to the culprit. It was blood found in the kitchen of the Rutherfords. Spokane detectives took a new look at the evidence in 2022. The Washington State Patrol Crime Lab tested DNA from the crime scene in February and got results back in June. A match report confirmed the blood found in the kitchen belonged to Tracy Pruitt. One set of fingerprints found on Eleanor's stolen Honda also matched Pruitt's. His name came up in this investigation even before the DNA match of this year. In 1982, his name first came up as a result of an investigation into unauthorized use of Archie's stolen credit cards. 62-year-old Tracy Pruitt was arrested in Los Angeles in November of 2022 and charged with taking Archie Rutherford's life. Investigators found that Pruitt was arrested in Ohio for an assault and robbery charge in 1982. He was convicted for those crimes and spent 27 years behind bars. Pruitt would have been 22 years old at the time he ended Archie's life. Investigators believed this was a random crime because they found no evidence that the two knew each other. Additionally, Pruitt's name never came up in interviews with Rutherford's co-workers or friends. Pruitt remains in custody in California awaiting extradition. His extradition process may take several months to determine if and when the state of California will relinquish custody of Pruitt to the state of Washington.